Sup, you fools! Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel, and today is a pretty big day for multiple reasons. Number one, this is the first show of the season, if you will, if you don't count the Maltese and the Spanish stuff that's going on, but an actual show that is focused on the national finals, and it is Albania Festivali Kenges, and the show has technically ended for us because the songs are done. The rest, we don't even really care about the rest. So that is what we're here for, and that is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Eurovision Festivali Kenges, and as you can see, I am not alone, because today I am joined by my buddy Roy, to technically your left, but you know, the camera stuff, you know how that works. And we are going to analyze and dissect the Albanian national final, and also kind of listen to what you have to say. And we'll go from there. So Roy, I know that you run your own little website. Why don't you introduce yourself and give a little bit a background of yourself and what you're doing?
I'm Roy, as Matt said already. Last year I started my blog. It's called royfusiblog.com. And I started writing about all the national finals and stuff because I thought that the Dutch audience needed a broader view of what Eurovision really is. And yeah, I just started to watch all the national finals, and then I contacted you, and you wanted me as a guest, so it's cool.
And here we are. So hopefully we get to do that a little bit more throughout the season, but enough of us, and let's talk about what we really care about, and that is Eurovision Festivali Këngës. And the first thing, of course, before we go into all the nitty-gritty and the details about who has performed and how they did, what was your overall impression of tonight? In case you don't know, if you didn't watch the whole thing, tonight was basically, this is a really weird thing with Festivali Këngës. They have the first semifinal, a second semifinal tomorrow, and then on Saturday, it's the actual grand final, if you will. Interestingly enough, tonight, no one's going to get eliminated or advances. They all will move on, basically. So tonight, they all performed in with the orchestra. They had that Albanian official orchestra. I don't know what they're called. But anyway, so they had that, and they were just singing along to that. And then tomorrow, they are actually going to apparently perform their studio version, but singing live like this. And then on Saturday, I know that's when we'll find out the winner. So go ahead, Roy. What are your first impressions? And then we'll go for that.
Well, firstly, it was a really long show. Like, I was totally, my webcam just fell down.
Oh, dear. Be careful.
Nice.
I know, right?
Okay, I think we're good now. Okay, cool. Yeah, it was a long show. Were some surprises, and some that I thought were good surprises, and some really bad surprises, too.
I know. Not to try to steal the thunder, so we're going to talk about, I know some of your favorites were not quite as good as you thought, but we'll talk about that in just a second. And I personally, I've watched Festivali Këngës for God knows how long. This is like my fifth year, I want to say. I'm not even sure. This definitely, to me, as a whole, has been a significant improvement song quality-wise.
Oh, yes.
Because there were a few, I try to be respectful, because just because I don't like them doesn't mean they're bad songs. But they're like more old school songs. In previous years, they had like so many of them, right? Like more than half, or like most of them were like the old school style. They tried to make it a little bit more current for Albanian perspective, right? So I feel as they try, because I know that young people do not watch the show, so they're trying to bring them back, and that is good. So I know there were 22 songs tonight. We're just going to go for them real quick, one by one, and then we're also going to answer your questions if you want, always at ESC United. I see some people already yelling at who they want to win, but we'll go for that. So the first one, his name was Bojan Lako. He is a Festivali Këngës return. He also took part last year. Your kind of music, Roy, what do you think?
No, it wasn't my kind of music, and I think it's really sad because his voice is really good, and yeah, it was just a song that went nowhere, and I thought it was quite a disappointment.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's kind of similar. I don't hate it. I don't even hate it. It's just the
No,
kind of music,
same.
and as I point out, it's the kind of music we expect from Festivali because, there is clearly a market out there for that. I guess to me, I expected a little bit more from Boyan because I've listened to a lot of his music before. He had some better efforts in Festivali, and this one was just a little bit repetitive. It was just like the same course, like the same thing over and over again. It's fun for like 2-3 times, but after a while, I'm like, okay, what else? So
Yeah.
I think that he'll have a good amount of supporters because there is a group of people who like that, but it's not a winner, huh?
No, definitely not. I thought it was a good show opener, but that's like it. Last year's song from him was a lot better, in my opinion, too. So
Yeah, no, I
yeah,
agree with that as well. So it seems as I got a lot of the traditional music in the beginning, except for the next
yeah,
band. The second band that came was a LAR
yeah.
band.
I'm really disappointed, actually.
I'm interested
I
to hear
was
why.
I was really excited for this one. I thought this could really become like alive on stage. And when it was on stage, I thought it was actually not as enthusiastic as I had hoped it to be. I thought it quite boring, maybe even for such a happy song.
Yes, I feel the same way to a certain extent. However, I'm going to put a little caveat out there. So first of all, I said it in my reaction video. It sounds like Moldova, right? It sounds like the song that
Yeah,
Moldova would send every year, and that's a plus because I
totally.
love that kind of music, right? It's upbeat, it's different, something that we have to have at Eurovision. So I was very intrigued by it. I loved what they did with the lighting, at least, because the background they had lots of colors, green, yellow, red.
Yeah.
So that brought a lot of life to the performance. I was very much in favor of that. But on Eurovision, we need more action on stage, should that win. Because, again, this is not the kind of song you want to stand still at the microphone and be like, la, 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 la. That's what we're missing. They were all just in place where they should be, kind of thinking, yeah, we're not moving around. Granted, and I'll give them the caveat as I was talking about, it is Festivali Kenges. They're not set up necessarily for crazy staging performances. It's not what they usually expect from them or that they're supposed to do. So I think
Very true.
this is fixable in that sense, but it's very difficult to judge this one without seeing the whole thing because it feels as we didn't see its full potential. That would be my thing.
Yeah, and I think actually the orchestra may have heard it a bit as well. I think tomorrow it may sound a bit better and a bit more alive because, it's a bit more of a EDM. I don't want to say EDM, but a bit more electronic vibes than
Yes.
this was.
Yes, and Turbo Folk a little bit. It's like really cool. I see a lot of people saying they haven't even watched the show yet. Well, we're giving a quick breakdown. Keep in mind, you have to take this one with a grain of salt because this is just the live orchestra thing. So we're not going to have live orchestras at Eurovision, so this could definitely change. But it's very interesting to get a first glimpse of what we might expect because some people stood out. It wasn't a LAR band yet, but not all hope is lost, I think we're both saying here.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, then Lydia Luffy was next. You go first. Her name. Well, actually, let me take a look at the name of the song. I'm butchering it. Oh no, it's Referhem.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't have done it any better. But yeah, I was actually quite excited for this one because I thought live that this would really be good. But I was also quite disappointed with this one because I really felt like I missed a punch. It didn't really come alive in the real show, and I had hoped that it would while it was live.
Yeah.
But yeah, also this one was really quite disappointing for me. So yeah.
Yeah. To me, I do like certain aspects of it. I did like the traditional dark sound of it that it had, right?
Totally.
And I agree with you. I wrote down the same thing. I like the studio version better. And what my problem was, her voice was a little bit too soft during the verses, and you could barely hear her. And then she kicked that in with a very loud and powerful chorus, right? A very good chorus. And there it sounds great. I just didn't like the way they connect the verses and the chorus. It's like two different songs almost, and therefore it gets a little lost. And that was my biggest issue with it. And I gotta say, not that I'm too judgy about that. I'm not the one to judge, but I did not like her outfit. She looks like she came from a funeral. That's how she was dressed.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
That's the first thing I thought as well.
It's like
The thing on her head, it was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. So, yes, that was my impression. So, either way, you said it was slightly less impressive. That's what we're saying, right? Okay. Yeah.
Slow start.
Yeah, it's a slow start. That's correct. And then this is what happened. After the first three songs, they decided to take a long long break. You know, right? You had
Very long.
a costume change. I think I don't know what they were doing. There were some random introductions of people, and she skinned a dead peacock and put on a new dress. That was a costume change. So I was wondering, why is there the delay after 3 songs? Because they were burning for the first 3 ones. It's like boom, boom, boom. Like, oh, this is gonna be a quick night. We're gonna be done in 2 seconds, and then it slowed down after that. It could be somebody pointed that out online on Twitter, that they really need a break for the musicians. You know, the guitarists, their hands will fall off at some point. So maybe that could be that they just need a little bit of a break, and commercials, of course, in between.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Somebody's asking, do you think they're going to release the videos? Because I did not have time to see the show. Our World, yes, somebody will release the video. If it's not coming officially from the Albanian broadcaster, it will definitely be put up by somebody. Somebody recorded it. And Albania is not very strict on copyright. So I don't think you have to worry about someone taking that down. So just check YouTube soon. Something will pop up, I'm pretty sure. If not, I'm pretty sure it'll be on the broadcaster's website as well. But I cannot vouch for that.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. All right, moving on. After that long break, as we talked about, we moved on to somebody called Kurtim Prodani. And he performed the song Babella, which once again, Roy, a little bit on the traditional side.
I was ready to wake up again after such a long break. It talked about Canada or whatever. It's the only thing I could pick up from it. And then, we got this. And it never really went anywhere, in my opinion. But surprisingly, I found myself swinging after a while to this. It was really weird. Like, I didn't have that before with the other 3 songs. But it started to just sway back and forth a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. It has something going for it, but this shouldn't go to Eurovision at all.
Yeah. No, and I'm not going to lie, because it's a night of honesty. It's not for me. It's not the kind of music for me. But again, I appreciate that they had music in their running that is for different generation. I don't know. Just for people who don't go with the obvious style that, is more popular. But again, to me, it was just... I was not quite as smitten by it. I thought it was, based on my personal taste, terrible. It's just, my problem was, he was talking through the verses, not even singing, because it was that kind of song. Then he sang a little bit in the chorus, but then we went to the verses, and then I'm talking again. It's like, I don't like it. I don't like that kind of music. Either sing, rap, but don't do that weird talky stuff. It's just not for me. That's all I'm saying.
No, same. Definitely the same. I also found his sunglasses or whatever he was wearing on his face was really distracting for me because he really just covered his face and his eyes, so he couldn't really connect with the audience.
Yes.
That was quite distracting.
And we have quite a little bit more of that. I actually have a few other acts where I had issues with that, so I want to kind of address that as well. But that I didn't think this one will leave an impact overall. So let's talk about song number 5, which was... Oh gosh, why does it have so weird, difficult names? Gjergir Leka. Besoy. What do you think?
Close enough.
Yeah, I know, right?
What did I write down here? Honestly, I can't even remember what the song was.
That's a bad sign.
Oh, yeah, I thought the background was a bit random. It had, the Guitar Hero things going on. It was really weird to me. And, I found his voice really good. That, first of all. But also this song was just really boring. Totally, the boring half was in the beginning, and I still had to wake up after this.
Yes. Now, and here's the thing. I did a reaction video that said, you guys haven't checked it out yet, make sure to do so. But it was something that I was initially interested in, right? So in the studio version it was probably for 2 seconds. And now I was not into it at all after tonight. I mean, again, it's a kind of style that is a market for Albania, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But this whole, once again, it's a recurring theme on those songs, let's just talk, rather sing. It just does not work for me. It does not work.
No.
Actually, the best part to me was the nice backdrop with the piano in the back and the hands playing. That I thought was really cool. I was mostly paying attention to that, and I was distracted. So I was like, the singer, the song, no. And that is just the kind of thing the issue is, if you don't have a song where you don't even pay attention to the actual...
Yeah, that's true.
You shouldn't be distracted by a screen. Although it worked in 2011 for Ukraine when the Sand Lady distracted all of us from the song as well. So
Yeah, but that's a good kind of distraction, I guess.
that is true. That is true. That was a little better.
Yeah.
So people are asking that popping in, who is your guest? This is Roy. I'm not sure which way I'm supposed to point because he's not physically here. He
No.
is Roy. He is running his own website. He's going to be a recurring host, hopefully, if he wants to come back. We just want to try to switch it up rather than just me talking. We're going to have someone else on Saturday. His name is Calvin, but he's been on the team for quite some time. So we'll make it a little bit more fun so we get different opposing opinions. Although we haven't really opposing opinions too much yet.
No.
It'll happen
I saw
probably.
another question as well. Somebody asking where I'm from. Well, I'm from the Netherlands. You probably already noticed, but yeah, I'm from the Netherlands.
Yep,
Don't know if you want more details, but
a Dutch dude. All right, moving on. Song number 6 of the night was Dilan Reka, Karma. Now, this is a departure from the other songs we've had so far. Now,
Totally.
yes, so the question is it a good or bad departure? Did that something right? Did that something wrong? I find this one very interesting.
I found this amazing, actually.
Really?
I didn't care for this while I heard the studio cut. I thought it was really dated. The electronic beat sounded really odd to me. But with the orchestra, it totally worked for me. I thought it came really alive. The beat sounded great, and his voice fitted with it, actually. The only thing that I did find really weird was his outfit. He had like this weird
I said
long
that too.
coat.
Yes.
Man, oh man, I did not get why he would wear that with such a song as well. Really weird.
Yes. Yes, so I have also a lot of opinions. Like, I remember through the songs, I made some notes to remember, and I'm like, oh my god, this is half a screen already that I just have for this song. So let me just try to summarize my thoughts. First of all, once again, I always look at a lot of other little details as well. So I look at the screen, which I thought was fantastic, right? Thunder and lightning. It's getting exciting, I was thinking. And I love how they all have the same backup vocals, like those 2 females, 2 males in the corner. You know, I didn't realize until that song, wait, they're using all the same the singers for the backups. I'm like, guess saves them a lot of money. I remember this one when I paid attention to after the songs came out was a little bit more polarizing and had a good amount of supporters, a few more opposing opinions as well. Tonight, I actually enjoyed it. His voice is really good, except at when he hits a high note at the very end. I was like, my milk is going sour in my refrigerator because he
I had that too.
He got to focus. He needs to focus on his vocals a little bit. In Albania terms, this is quite modern.
Yeah.
In the rest of us, it's 23 years too late, and just wasn't a fan of his fashion either. To me, it looks like the color looks like he was wearing a sack of potatoes. It was just and then he had the yellow aviator glasses on top of it, and I'm like, I don't get this look quite.
Yeah.
So the only thing I hope they can do is, if this were to win, that they have to do a major revamp, because right now it feels a little bit too outdated. And I don't necessarily say everything has to be like what's in the charts right now, right? But you get what I'm saying. It just feels like a different era almost at times. But it has to do with the arrangement, the orchestration, I think, if they fix it. This is not a lost cause, I believe.
No, I think if they go a bit more rock-ish with it, I think it could actually kind of work, because with the orchestra right now, it sounded better for me already.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go more towards that side and make it like a bit more rocky, I think that could really work. But yeah, we all have to see. I'm not sure if this will win. I don't think so, but we'll see.
Yeah, let's see, indeed. And but yeah, no, it's definitely a little bit on my radar. I enjoyed it for what it was, that's for sure. And then after song 6, guess what? Another long break. Yeah, and by the way, what I noticed, I'm not sure if you noticed that, so I wanted to talk about that because I have to pick on them a little bit. I love Albania, don't get me wrong, but I do love to pick on the show a little bit. So they have this big screen in the back of the arena, right? And it serves as a teleprompter, and it's huge, right? It's huge, and the camera didn't even bother hiding it. They always kind of went on top of it all the time. You saw their actual script on there, and I was like, they're not ready to host Eurovision yet, are they?
No.
I was like, that was slightly funny. Do you notice that as well?
Yeah, I noticed that as well. Like the big yellow text in front of the black screen, it nearly made me think about Star Wars a little bit.
Yeah, it does. At first, I thought it was really just like they're doing some announcement, like screen. Like, wait a second, it says exactly what they're saying on the screen. Oh my god, it's a teleprompter. It was just really, really funny to me. But hey, this is why I love watching these national finals, because I do that. I celebrate them. And maybe make it a
Yeah.
bit fun, but just because out of love.
But also
Uh,
they had like cards, so I don't even get why they needed all that written down on the big screen. They had cards in their hands that they could have written all the text on, but really baffling to me.
your guess is as good as mine. And I noticed sometimes when I looked at the screen, especially the lady, she drifted off, like she had that glaze on her eyes. And now next is this song that I'm like, oh my god, you're totally just reading it. We totally can see it that you're not looking at us. It was just very, very funny. But after that break, we moved on to Mirud and
Uh,
Nene.
Actually, I was so excited for these three songs
In a
because
row?
they were. I
Yeah.
just wrote an article today and I ranked my top 10, and these three songs were in my top three. So I was like, there have my top three in one little session so I can compare them perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, could I compare them.
So tell me more about Nene.
Yeah, this was my favorite going in to win it. Not my personal favorite, but to win. But I found his vocals being a bit off. Maybe not off, but like not as strong as I'd hoped
Yeah.
it to be. And I at times I even found the orchestration going over his voice a bit. And especially when he sung a bit in the low ranges, his voice was really just vulnerable and not good enough. When he went up high, it was a bit better again, but yeah, this really disappointed me.
Yeah.
And also at a big moment where he went real high, they made all these shots from the orchestra, and I was like, "This is his moment," and then you just point the camera at the orchestra. It was really odd to me.
Yes. I'm with you on that. I was really looking forward to this one tonight. I had Mirud. If those who watched my video, I put him initially in 5th place, and I said this could potentially be higher up if he blows us away. Tonight he has not delivered, but fans of Mirud, don't freak out just yet. Tonight was only with the orchestra. He still has the other show tomorrow, and then the grand final probably on the following night. A few things I wanted to point out is the melody to me is magical of that song, and it takes you like on this journey because it doesn't necessarily follow the proper structure that you expect from a song, like verse, chorus, bridge. You know, it did a little bit more of a different thing there, and that I always appreciate. So I still have that as a contender and a potential winner to this date. This could potentially still be a jury favorite. It just has that kind of feel to it. Now, he has a good voice, right? He has a nice voice. He just was struggling big time tonight, especially with the lower quiet notes at the beginning. That is where he could not figure out how to sing it. He seemed very, very nervous, and I think he realized that he messed up a few notes, and then he lost his focus. You could see he wasn't quite connected either that night. And he was also not quite there with his head voice, when he says, that's soft, then he was also a little off. But once he hit that loud, powerful ones, he was just like flawless with those for the most part.
Totally.
He got that. So he this is not over for him.
Just needs to work on it.
Lesson learned, because this is good. He just has to improve. A song, he cannot just be good on the big notes. It has to be from the beginning to the very end, because we love this. We kind of like the song, both of us already, and I know a lot of people do as well. So we were kind of like waiting for the good stuff. But if you're someone who listens to it for the very first time, you may, by the time he really gets to the point where he sounds great, people may have tuned out already.
Yeah. But I do think if he just works on those low ranges, I think it can really work, because he's really a charismatic guy, and we already blamed a lot of the dresses they had. But I found he was really dressed up properly for this song and this occasion.
Yes.
It fitted him and the song.
It's a very good point to make, because I usually not a big person pays attention to fashion unless it stands out, right? It's like good or bad. And I feel as I don't remember even what he was wearing, which is not a bad thing. That means he blended in properly. It I think he was wearing just dark clothes, I think, like mostly black.
It was black.
Yes, so I think it was very appropriate for that kind of song, absolutely.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can improve. I'm not counting him out. I hope you're not either.
No.
Nope.
Definitely not.
Nope. So let's move on to song number 8. Sony Melage, Me e Forte. More, better, worse? Tell me, Roy.
Well, I personally didn't really care too much for this song. I did think that it does have a market for people. and that it really needed to be sold live. And while she totally had all the charisma in the world to carry this song, and the backdrop was amazing as well, I thought that vocally she kind of missed the mark a little bit. I did think it was better than what I had hoped, but it's a bit too much of a Cypress knockoff of last year, I think.
Ah,
And
gotcha. You
I
see,
don't know, it's a bit dated. Maybe it's not the best word, but yeah, they need some work on this as well.
yeah. So, I feel a little bit better about it. So, first of all, I love the boom boom partner with boom. Boom,
Yeah,
boom,
that's
boom,
great.
boom,
That's great.
boom. I'm like, and some people are actually saying online, like, they need to get rid of that. It's stupid. I'm like, are you guys loco?
Uh,
I love that part. It like immediately is a
mhm.
hook. You immediately look like, oh, boom, boom, boom. What's going on, right? So I love the beginning. First of all, she looked amazing, though. I think she really went out to have like a look that you could wear on Eurovision. May not be for everyone, but she definitely came out to win. She looked
Yeah,
amazing and she came to impress. And I like what they did with the staging there. It really felt as they were knowing what they were doing, the proper lighting. It was sharp. It was just really, really good. And I was a big fan of the song, and she did not lose me throughout the performance. So she definitely is an
that's true.
entertainer. She is an entertainer, and I was thoroughly entertained throughout the 3 minutes. She definitely had the energy level that I was looking for, because that's a kind of energetic song, and you cannot just kind of drift off. She kept the
Mm.
composure with that. And so definitely visually one of the most memorable so far.
Totally.
She's a pro, absolutely. Now I agree with you that I think at times she kind of lost focus vocally because she was all about the performing,
Hmm.
and you need to do both. And yes, people, and I think somebody on Twitter said the same thing. This is like, oh, reminds me of Cypress Eleni. And of course, Eleni did not invent bangers like, whipping your hair back and forth songs. Like, that's not her
No,
music.
true.
So, but having such a song that became so popular so quickly at Eurovision, you can't help but to compare it to a certain extent. And I'll give
Yeah.
Eleni that. She moved like crazy, more than her backup dancers, and she still was vocally spot on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is what
That's
I
the
think.
difficulty of this, because if there was like a year in between, that comparison wouldn't be as big as it is right now. You know, we just have Eleni fresh in our minds. And so we'll probably all just compare it to that. Not everybody, of course, but the people inside the Eurovision bubble
Yes.
will totally compare it to that and just say it's a worse version. Definitely vocally.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So no, and this is also again, and this is going to be a recurring theme throughout the night. I'm surprised I haven't said it more often. Albania is notorious for revamping it. Most, if
Mm.
not all, of these songs will get a revamp, and this is definitely needs a little bit more of an oomph to it, and that is what's missing right now. And I think having that will make a difference. And if she brings on some backup vocalists on top of it to maybe cover up some of the less perfect notes, who knows? So I thought she delivered. I think she said she need this 80%. Maybe it needs to be a little bit more for me to go all the way out, and mostly that has to do with the vocal aspect of it. There were a few
Yeah.
not quite there, but it's still early. She still has plenty of time to fix that. Any other thoughts on this one before we move on?
Well, it did wake me up, and I did not expect this to be good with the orchestra,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actually really good with the orchestra. And maybe it will be even better tomorrow when the tracks go behind the song and not the orchestra. But
Yeah, and that's
yeah,
a very good important thing to point out, is that this is really going to be very different from the actual that different, because I felt as a orchestra sounded not that different from the studio versions in many occasions. I'm like, well, yeah. So it's going to be a little different though tomorrow, because they're going to have the studio version. So everything that happened today, grain of salt, almost look at it as a rehearsal to a certain
hmm,
extent, because now they can figure out, okay, maybe I should sing this way and that way. And that is just to going back also with what's the name's band, Ala Band earlier, that we thought they're going to dance like crazy on stage and nothing happened. Maybe when they have actually all just recordings, that they can be a little bit more playful. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Not with an orchestra, so you never know. That was another very popular song, and followed by another song that is pretty popular in the fan rankings, was Junida
yeah.
Maliki, Kitu Tokes. Roy, what do you think? Are you team Junida?
Um, well, um, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent about this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find it bad at all. I found it really quite good. But she sounded quite, yeah, a bit silent throughout the song compared to the backup singers and the orchestra.
Yeah.
And I find it really distracting. Like she needs to be center point of the song, and it was more the orchestra that played over her. That could, of course, be fixed tomorrow with the orchestra being gone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that is really what struck my attention the most.
Yeah.
But she can sing totally.
Yeah. I first of all was digging her look, her hair. She looked like almost
Yeah.
like a queen from Egypt, and her outfit, her aura on stage, her interpretation of the song. I thought it was just staging was very interesting. A great job overall, especially with the live orchestra. You know, because I think this is a difficult song with perform with a live orchestra. So
Yeah,
I give
true.
her a little bit of a credit there where the flaws were. If this wins, and I think that this is a contender still,
Oh, totally.
they need to crank up the backup vocals in the chorus because that added a little bit more of depth because they do this in the verses but not the chorus. And maybe that's, as you pointed out correctly, Roy, is maybe the orchestra overshadowed a little bit all of that, and
Yeah.
hopefully that could be fixed. Nevertheless, I think it's great. Now, I'm a little bit more biased than you because those who watch my reaction video, they know that I put this in my first place. And I would have to not sure if she would drop at this point. Maybe not. I would have to think. But I'm impressed. I'm happy enough. I have to wait. I think this was the first good performance. Love the lighting too, the whole purple and white. I think Albania is trying to catch up in time, you know, because they always seem to be like 30 years behind when it comes to everything, the staging, the hosting, the music. So I think they're trying to do better.
Yeah.
All
But I
right.
could totally envision her on a Eurovision stage. I thought she looked really great and it had an epic feel from the start. It was just, yeah, the orchestra overshadowed her.
Yeah,
That can easily be fixed.
absolutely. Absolutely. And then once again, 3 songs later means another long break. All right, but then we're not going to bother. We're going to move right on because Elton Data was performing next. And it was really interesting because he didn't bother putting forward his full version of the song until like basically last minute, a couple of days ago or so. So
I
I
noticed.
did, yeah, so it was really weird. But what did you think compared to like,
Well, I still find it really weird. He led the orchestra, I think, or he was part of the orchestra at least. So I really find it weird that he can just partake while he is part of the orchestra that just directs all the other songs.
mm-hmm,
But that aside, this was also a kind of song that was in the beginning and it was just there and it never really went anywhere for me.
mm-hmm,
His voice is really good though, and yeah,
yeah.
it's kind of everything I can say about it.
No, it was really interesting because I started writing down myself like I don't have that much to say about this one.
Yeah.
It was fairly pleasant melodically. It did not offend me.
Mm.
It wasn't offensive to my ears at all. Inoffensive. He sang it well too. Just as you said, it's forgettable, and it's hardly to remember it now. But again, pleasant to my ears. Liked it better than I thought when I first listened to it because I forgot even more about it. But it's just not. I just don't see this going anywhere. I don't think they're going to be any songs eliminated. Are there any songs going to be eliminated tomorrow? Do you happen to? Because they don't really
I have
specify.
no idea.
They're not being very clear on that. I don't think there will
I would
be.
say so, but
Because
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know either. They're being very hush hush about all of this. It seems.
Hmm.
Yeah. So then song number 11 was Ilona Islamai Nekete Bote Kalim Tare. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I've written down here because I totally don't remember the song. I've written down that she has a great voice, but that it is such a shame that her song is so boring. Um,
Ah.
yeah, but I did think live was a lot better than the studio version.
Yeah.
But for me, she could have gone into the higher ranges a bit better, and the orchestration of the song could have been a bit more epic, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then she could have actually had quite a decent song, but yeah, this kind of left me cold.
Yeah, and I can see why. And here's why, because I wrote my notes as well. I think it left me cold as well, and here's why. One of the reasons why Eugen won last year, Bush Pepper, right? Besides the good song and the fantastic vocals, let's put that even aside, it's because he had amazing stage presence, right? People gravitated towards him. He was connecting at some point, especially during Eurovision. Ilona, she didn't have that magic, at least not tonight. That can be fixed because her eyes were closed almost through the entire song. She was always singing like, Albanian, Albanian. And her eyes were closed almost the entire time. And that is really a thing. It leaves you cold. And I think that is what happened to a lot of people, myself included. It didn't help. Good thing is nobody votes tonight. So she needs to work on that. So she is still in it. The song is fine to me. It just isn't something that
it's not offensive.
It doesn't captivate me in any shape or form. I do like it has like a kind of dark yet longing vibe to it, like she's longing for something. I don't know even what could be toast. I don't know, but it was just a bit monotonous overall. So, but she can sing. She's not a bad singer.
Totally. Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed, that she got a great voice. But yeah, it's quite underwhelming.
Yep, that's what I was thinking was. The next up was Clint. No, I'm lying. No. It's Claudiana Vata. Membrea e Pafunt? So, tell me, Roy.
I thought this was quite surprising live, in a good way. When I listened to the studio version, I thought that this would fall quite flat to live. But I thought it was quite cool. But I did think the dance break that she did, she just went dancing all of a sudden to the very dated beat. I find it really funny somehow. But yeah.
Yes, we agree. We agree again. That's a weird part. Because I was not in line with most people initially. First of all, why did she talk in the beginning? Like before she sang, she's like blah 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 blah, and then she started singing. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That was random as well. Those random moments. She made some kind of announcement. I agree with you. She impressed me. And the song wasn't really on my radar at all. A lot of people liked it, but I'm like, but she delivered. She delivered. Her voice was spot on for the most part. And while the current rendition really, really feels outdated, as you said, like she was dancing to that. Okay, that's not really working. But she really made the most of it, I think. She knows that if she was into it, and she knows if she wins, she gets a big-ass revamp. And I think she knows that this song has potential. So it climbed up in my ranking for sure. It wasn't even in my top.
Me too.
I did a top 10. It wasn't in my top 10 even. I think this would definitely be at least in my top 10. With the kick-ass revamp, definitely so far to me the biggest grower of the night. You know why it also sounds a little outdated to me? Do you remember Albania 2009, Carry Me in Your Dreams?
Oh, that... I can't just imagine it now, but like
look it up afterwards. You're gonna be like, it's that song.
Okay.
That's exactly what it sounds like, and that's why I'm like, I can't get past that sound. So that was just very, very interesting. But definitely to me, I like it. What about you? Anything else that I missed?
No, I think you totally hit the mark with this. I did have that. To me, she sounded a bit meh vocally, but that wasn't because she was singing bad, but that was because she has quite a polarizing voice, if that makes sense.
It's not.
I find the sound of her voice to be quite. You either like it or you don't like it, and I was more on the don't like part of it.
That's fair. That is fair. Interesting. Somebody pointed out just in general the Festival Kenges. Some artists participated in this not just because they want to go to Eurovision, they do it because of the national festival for years, and that's nice, because that is true. In case those who are fairly new Eurovision fans, Festivali Kenges has been around for 57 years. That's why it's called FIK 57. So this has been around way before they took part in Eurovision, because Albania only joined Eurovision in what year, Roy? Am I going to test you? What year did Albania join?
No idea. I'm not that historically gifted like you are.
I'm not just historically gifted. I'm gifted. No, it's 2004 when they joined. So it was only 14 years ago. So for like over 40 years, they've had that contest. So a lot of people, artists, don't even have Eurovision in mind when they take part. And that is fair. That is a very fair thing. Somebody's pointing out as well that apparently the song was composed by the same guy who wrote Carry Me in Your Dreams, the one I was just pointing out. That is lazy songwriting.
We'll get to that.
I know, we'll get to that. Oh, gosh. Anyway, we are now moving on to song 13. We're already more than halfway through. Clint Kolaku Me Yete. You know what? Actually, I'll go first. I'll let you go
Yeah,
first, and I
go
will
ahead.
put you on the spot. So why don't I go first this time? Um, it was very interesting. Initially, it gave me a little bit of an Autumn Leaves vibe, which is Macedonia from 2015, I believe. Um,
That could be it.
a little bit, certain parts of it. I mean, it's less R&B-ish, but it
Yeah,
has that kind of feel to it. And he sang it well, really well. This is the
mm,
perfect song to perform with an orchestra, by the way.
yeah.
The strings really made it beautiful. It may be difficult to really recreate that with the recorded version, but it sounded so beautiful to me. The problem is, no orchestra at Eurovision, as I pointed out, right?
Yeah.
And tomorrow they're going to perform the studio version, and we'll get a different feel for it. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. If it's going to lose some of the magic that I thought it actually had, because it's another grow for me. It was not really like the studio version was really blah to me, but I was really smitten by it, and he sounded so good. It was just very well done, and it just proves to me that a live performance, a good one that is, can really elevate a song to a completely different level, right? And I think that's what he got accomplished today. Will I vote for? Or like, would I put it at the top of my list? Probably not, but it definitely was an improvement from what I've heard so far. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, the first thing I wrote down is that this song sounds familiar. I couldn't really picture what it was, but it could be the Autumn Leaves, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, vocally it was really good. This was also one of the songs that really surprised me in a good way. I also didn't really care for this when I looked up all the songs. But yeah, this right now could well enter my top 10. But
Yeah. It was just
we'll
a
see tomorrow.
ballad. It was just like a ballad, but now it feels like there's
Yeah.
a little more substance to it, and that is what I love about listening to these songs live, because it could change the whole picture. Now, what
Yeah.
about Artemisa Miti and Phoebe Skurti? Are you all right over there?
Yeah, my
Your camera fell
my
down again?
incredible set. Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Okay, I think it's fixed.
Band-aids and gum is what's holding stuff together.
Yeah.
Artemisa Miti and Phoebe Skurti, Dua Ta Bisoy. And just interesting enough, in case those who don't know, this song was added to the lineup at a later point. There was another withdrawal, and this song was not initially part of Festivali Kenges. So they're like, okay, somebody is out, you guys are in. So was
Really?
that a good or bad choice? What do you think?
Well, I actually kind of wanted to let you talk first because you didn't like the rap part of the song.
Yes. But quick question before I
Yeah.
actually answer. Somebody's asking, how many times Elton Data tried to represent Albania? About 530 times. He actually took part many times. I don't have the exact number, but I don't necessarily think that he wants to represent Albania. I think he just likes to take part in Festivali Kenges. We just said 2 minutes ago that this is also just a national festival, music festival, and it existed before Eurovision was a thing in Albania. Think of it a little bit as like Sanremo in Italy, where this is not really a national final. They just give the winner the privilege to represent Italy at Eurovision. And it's a similar concept there in Albania. So that's why. So even if Elton were to win this year, which I don't think he will, but let's just pretend he is, that doesn't mean he's going to go to Eurovision. He could easily say, I'm not really into that. Anyway, so going back to what we're talking about the song Dua Ta Bizoy, as said, they were not even in the lineup initially, right? And then they were added, and I'm surprised because this is definitely better than a lot of songs in the running this year. Absolutely.
Okay.
And as I said, you pointed out again, Roy, I'm not a big fan of rap, right? Rap to me is, I just can't get into it. So when that always happened, even during the song, it kind of takes me out of the moment, especially the hand gestures. I'm a rapper. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's just not me. And but what a strong chorus that was. Like it sounded good
definitely.
on. It was so good. It was good on the studio version, but live, it was like, oh my god, this is something really current, like something that could the international audience totally. It's accessible for them, right? Not just like certain aspects, certain parts of the continent. This seems very easy on the ears for almost everyone. I just need to, what I need to do is get past my personal bias here against rap, because it's just me, right? I think it sounded really good tonight. That's my final verdict. Just get rid, also the only thing I would also suggest is get rid of some of the ooh, there's so many oohs in the song. And that is always a deal breaker to me. Don't do too much ooh, trying to avoid writing more lyrics or be a little bit more creative. So that is my suggestion. But Roy, here you go. What are you thinking?
Well, Firstly, I kind of really like this song at first listen. Um, what I do think is that rapping in Albanian isn't the best idea. So
Mm-hmm.
if this were to get picked, I would either like a translation or a little bit of a revamp in the rapping part.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't understand the language, you're just really gonna look at what's wrong in the rapping.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, he sounded a little bit off or not very interesting. But then when she came in, it was totally changing for me. I was really into this, and I wrote down it was
Same.
very, very like it sounded like a big anthem that you could just play in the
Yes.
stadium, and I could totally see this on Eurovision stage and the entire crowd
Singing
going
along.
wild for this.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. So this is definitely rising in my rankings a lot now.
Yes. I think it's going up a little bit as well. Again, I don't know if it'll ever be at the top for previously mentioned reasons, the rap part. But
Mm,
I tried to get past it so hard, but it comes down to personal taste. It's just
yeah.
not for me. And but hey, but this is definitely something we shouldn't count out completely. Oh, my thing is with Festivali Kenges is that this is a little bit more modern, right? I mean, this is very
Mm.
contemporary. That kind of music usually doesn't do well at Festivali Kenges. Do you think this has a shot at all? I know they're changing the voting a little,
Yeah,
but
I don't know. Is there actually any public voting at all in Festival Këngës,
yes,
or
there is some
okay,
public voting. Yes.
okay. Well, yeah, I totally couldn't tell you actually, but this definitely isn't a song that the juries would go for unless they see the yeah the song doing well in Eurovision. But there
Yes.
are totally other songs that would do a lot better in the judges' eyes.
Yeah.
Um, so I think this would struggle to win, but it's really great to have this.
Yes. No, I think it's a wonderful addition, and I may feel even stronger tomorrow because we had an orchestra. It's not very orchestra-friendly song, so
No, although I must say the background choir was really cool with this.
yes,
It
yes.
really gave more energy to the song. So, but maybe that's there tomorrow as well.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
think
know.
there will
But,
still have backup singers, I would think, tomorrow, but just
mm,
no actual instruments. So, but we'll
yeah,
wait and see. Okay, so next up is Kelly, song number 15, Ahmed
yeah.
Nyen. And the only thing I want to, let me go first since I'm already still talking. Um, those who watched my video is I was very critical of this one. I
Me too.
did not like this whole auto-tuned BS there. It really pissed me off. I'm like, it's a ballad, and why would you do all these auto-tune like you're doing? It was like, oh god. So, but I was very, very curious about the live performance, and this
Yeah.
is what I was thinking. Like maybe he can win me over. Um, did what do you think, Roy? Did it win you over?
It actually in the beginning I thought like he was off the key a bit. So I initially wrote down auto tune can't help you now. But then after a while, he started to go to the real part of the song, and his voice started to pick up. And I actually didn't find him too bad, honestly.
Yeah,
It was definitely better than I expected.
same
I
here
don't think it
actually.
will win, but
No,
it was
but
good.
yeah, no, I agree. And it was a roller coaster ride for me a little bit with this one. It has also a little bit more of a old school sound to it, right? It's not like very contemporary, but I'm not going to lie, I actually like that kind of music. We don't always have to have like the latest Ariana Grande songs in Eurovision, right? We need to have a little bit more diversity.
Yeah.
And it was kind of soothing at the beginning of the song. Wasn't bad.
Mm.
I was worried that with the audition that his vocals would be all over the place. I mean, there were a bunch of not okay notes in there. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
There were a few of them, and I'm going back to what happened to that one lady. I forgot her name already earlier. His eyes were closed too much. People don't close. Imagine I'm doing this live stream there. So what did you think, Roy? Was it a really good show?
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. It's like it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I get it at a concert. You in as an artist, you're into the music. You're totally into it. And when you go to a concert, you see people often having their eyes closed because it's a little different. But this is a TV show, and you need to take that into consideration. If you don't connect with the audience, then you're kind of screwed. That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. So connect with us a little bit more, but it was pretty pleasant to my ears, and it was not bad at all.
No, definitely not. But it won't break any walls or glasses or anything.
No.
It was just, it's there. And he did a fine job with what he had to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. No, we're on the same page here as well.
Yeah.
Song number 16,
Oh
Bruno
my
Polo.
God.
Oh, you go first. Your reaction already, it's very interesting.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I love and hate this song so much. I had this in my head the entire week, and I don't know why, but it's just that Nuka song. Da, 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 da. It's so like catchy to me,
Hmm.
and it totally sounded like a song that you could also see in Melody Festival, and it really just made me think
Sean
about.
Banan, I was thinking of. Yes, a little
Uh,
bit.
yeah, 2 years ago you had the song "Naar Ingen Ser." It really just sounded like that for me.
Hmm.
It's not that popular, but and also it kind of had it kind of made me think about Samir and Victor as well, because he had like that geeky look, and yeah, he just had some fun and he did his song, and I wouldn't even be mad if this won, but I don't think it will.
Yeah, no, it's not certainly the best. So I'm kind of with you. I had so much fun watching this, right? It's
Mm,
different than any of the other songs in the running this
yeah,
year. And he was fun on stage, as you said. He was charismatic and had so much energy and fun on stage. And that means a lot to me. And that is why I'm pointing out some of the others who have the eyes closed and not really being into it. This is so important to have, whether you have an upbeat song, you need to bring that across. If you have a ballad, you need to bring that emotion in. And he had
yeah,
the proper energy for the song, and that is so important. As I said in my initial reaction video, I think it's a kind of song that I will enjoy once or twice. Like, it's so much
yeah,
fun, but I don't necessarily see this has like the longevity that I need in a song to really make me like, woo! It's like, come on, it's fun. It's fun for what it is. I want to have it in the finals, but I don't think I want it to
yeah.
win per se. But once again, who knows if they fix a few things there? Who knows? But I was actually thoroughly entertained from the beginning to the end, and that says a lot, doesn't it?
No, yeah, definitely. I had the same thing, and yeah, it was stuck in my head the entire week, and I think it will be stuck in my head for another week. But yeah, we'll see.
But that is good. You want to have something
Yeah,
stuck. If that's a kind of
true.
song, you want to have it at least something memorable.
Mm,
So yeah, so I love this Albanian national final this year. Okay, song number
me too.
17, Marco Strazimiri and Imbro with Layla. What do you think,
Oh
Roy?
God. Um, yeah, I may have. Mm, I'm not saying this will be my favorite now.
I thought you were going to say you're going to hate it. Okay, so go ahead. Go
No,
ahead. Go ahead. I'm happy. I'm happy.
but
Go ahead.
I absolutely love this. The studio version was really messy, and I think live it was already kind of fixed. I think the guy with the dreadlocks was a bit,
Off
he,
key.
he wasn't
Yeah.
a little bit off key, but also a little bit less volume in his voice than the
Hmm.
other guy.
Yeah.
But I think from the get-go, it immediately had the emotion it needed, and I found the backdrop being really pretty as well. I thought they sold it really well on stage, and I found it absolutely amazing, and it totally goes up my rankings right now.
Mine too, actually. And did you notice something? I'm not sure if they had a lot of friends and family in there, but there was a huge applause at the very
Yeah,
end. Huge reaction.
definitely.
So I was very interesting. And I
Mhm.
I wish we would disagree more right now, Roy, because I'm like, yes, I agree, I
I'm
agree.
sorry.
We're super boring because we all agree. No, but it's true. If somebody does something well, you have to acknowledge it. This song was in my top 10. I put it a little lower,
Yeah.
like 8th or 9th place, I don't remember, for the exact same reason you just pointed out, because the studio version was a bit messy.
Hmm.
And I didn't feel as the vocals mashed very well in the chorus. But overall, this is my kind of song to begin with. It's like Balkan ballady, right?
Yeah.
And so much potential there. And what I appreciate about this one is that we finally have some proper harmonies. We don't have that many duos. I love me some really good harmonies, and that is what we got here. We need more of that. So
Yeah.
I thought the background, I mean, even though creative was a bit distracting, that were like random doves or birds sitting there, and then that woman with a
Yeah.
hole in her stomach. I'm like, ew, what is that? And I'm sure it's art. It's art, but I'm not
Yeah.
a very
Do you know what
artsy
the song is
person.
about, actually?
Layla.
Yeah.
It's about Layla.
Obviously,
They keep
obviously.
saying that.
No, but the song is, I think, if I read it right, I don't even know where I read it, but it's about a young girl getting
That's what I thought because the hole. Yeah.
impregnated. Yeah, exactly. And that she now has to take care of her child alone. And so I found the backdrop really fitting to the song. But
That
yeah,
is true. The message is there, but I thought it was more distracting because I'm like, why is that woman having a hole that is kind of ew? But
yeah,
I get the meaning behind it, and it's a minor thing. I'm not saying this is like really a whole thing. Um,
yeah.
now I do think that this will be more of a polarizing entry. I
True.
don't. For me, it totally works. I'm glad it kind of won you over as well. Um, this is again, I love Balkan ballads, and we need to add more instruments in here. Make it
I
even
think
more
this will.
beautiful.
I think this will also really just stand out in Eurovision itself. I don't think we'll have a lot of male uh, groups. Not necessarily a group, but it's
Well,
a male
a
duo.
duo. Yes, it's not as
Yeah,
common. Yeah, it's not as common. I mean, for a while, we in 2000, 2001, a male duo won for 2 years in a row, but
yeah.
since then, it's been a while. Anyone being really at
But
the
that was
top.
more a different kind of duos. Those were not really singing together,
Yeah.
like harmonizing like they are doing.
Yes.
So I totally think that they could qualify with this if this were to go to Eurovision.
Yes. Now, I've been praising this song. I'm going to give some criticism here because it's a night of
Okay.
honesty. I didn't like the ending. The ending is too sudden. I hate these abrupt endings.
Yeah.
Like, Layla, Layla. Okay, we're done. Thank you. Okay. Make it a big, good ending. Like not like you stopped singing because you got bored. That was the issue I had, but that can be fixed with a proper revamp. So I hope you're all watching. And if you win, dear Marco and Imbro, listen to me. I know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. I don't, but I'm just saying. But yeah, I said a big round of applause at the very end. I'm not sure if this really has to do with they have a lot of fans in there or it just really went big. I'm curious to find out what people will
I don't
say.
know.
Have you checked Twitter or anything like social
No, I
media?
haven't. I haven't really looked at anything yet.
Yeah, I didn't. I missed when that one was performing because I was really paying attention. So
Maybe people in the chat will know.
yeah, yeah. Let us know, folks. Okay, moving on. Song number 18, Lorela Sedini, "Vet Me."
Yeah.
Shoot, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Um, I thought that this had quite a lot of people liking this,
Uh
and
huh.
I just don't really see why. It's like a bit weird to me. The song just doesn't seem like a complete song or something. It's just a really odd composition. And like live, it was a lot better in the studio cut because it goes from like the ballad, very calm, and then all of a sudden that drum and bass beat kicking in. It's so weird to me, but yeah,
I think this live stream is officially canceled because I once agree have exactly the same opinion. Here's the thing, and I wrote this even down, Roy. And I just want to let everyone know we did not compare notes at all.
no, we
But
didn't even watch together.
no, I didn't even tell him before we went live. I'm like, don't. Let's not talk about this a whole lot because we don't want to, ruin it for the live stream. We want to have the honest opinion. But seriously, I was similar. I was not quite as crazy about this one. I think it was pretty popular in a lot of. I think even it won the ES United my team's vote, if I'm not mistaken. I could be
Okay,
wrong. I'm not saying she performed it well. I'm not gonna just pick on it. It
definitely.
just didn't click with me melodically, and it never did. At times it got a bit too noisy and somewhat of a disarray. So the click wasn't there. You click with certain music, and I'm not trying to poo-poo on the song too much, just because I didn't click with it.
Yeah,
She sounded good. I just don't have a whole lot to add on this one. It's that kind of song. I'm like, yeah, it was there, but it's just not for me.
yeah. It was just a ballad that was there, but there were better ones, in my opinion. Yeah,
No, yeah, I feel so as well. So sorry, Loretta, if you don't go crazy over it, but you did your thing. Number 19, Eliza, or probably pronounced Eliza Hoxha. And all the Albanians probably are ripping their hair out in the chat right now because I totally butcher their names. It's Peng. And let me go first on this one. First of all, to me, Peng, it's all about the singer. I wasn't crazy into it in the studio version, but I pointed out that if she can perform it live, this could be easily something that could be a little bit more memorable. And the problem I had throughout the entire song, I'm not sure if it's the same in Dutch, Roy, but I had to giggle because the song Peng, it's a German word for bang, like you shoot someone, right?
right,
And
yeah,
like shooting a gun. So when she was always singing emotionally, pang, pang, I was like, stop shooting people.
yeah,
And it was really taking me out. But that is again my problem.
yeah.
But that's my issue. But what did you think?
Yeah, like that kind of things can really bother me with songs. when your main word of the song is peng. I had the same thing with Iceland 2 years ago when they had paper as their main word. I was like, why paper? From all the words you can pick, you pick paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, this song was also just there for me, and she was a good singer, and I think
Yes.
she was just there to be in the festival itself,
Yeah.
rather than win to go to Eurovision.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't offend me or anything, and it was just fine.
Yes. Now, and I think, and I said, this song really needed to wow me live before. She did great, but it still wasn't enough for me to go crazy over it. The spark wasn't there. Somebody's asking if anyone's getting eliminated tonight. In case you're just coming on, no one's going to be eliminated tonight. It was all just a live orchestra performance. Tomorrow they will perform again, and that one will be a studio version kind of thing. So we're going to compare notes and see if there were major changes. So think of this as a rehearsal, I'm always saying. And then Saturday is the big show, the finale, where we will know more details.
Yes.
Okay, so song number 20.
Oh, this will be interesting.
Yes, see if you agree or disagree. I'm very interesting as well. Iranda Lipova 100. Yeah. I don't know how to say 100 in Albanian, so I'm just going to say in English. 100 pietje.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I already counted way more question marks in the background. I found it really distracting. I was like, seriously, is that the most creative thing you can come with? Just question marks because your song is about questions? No, I wasn't really fond of this. I really thought this would be cool live. I was okay with it initially, and I thought this would really come alive. But it really just didn't for me. It never really grabbed me, and it just kind of stayed where it started, and it was only really nice when the little beat comes in halfway through. That was the only real nice thing for me, and she sang a lot louder than the orchestra for like the only song in the entire running. And those also, I don't know, it didn't really click with me, this one.
Okay, before I give you my answer, I just want to go back to the chat real quick because somebody pointed out peng means actually hostage or pledge. So it's a very dark and sad ballad. And I was like, oh, that makes it even worse because I was like, bang, bang. And because you're a peng.
Oh, yes.
I felt bad. I'm not saying like I was right. It's my fault. But I just couldn't get past the peng part. I'm sure that now at least we know it is actually a serious song. I figured because the song felt serious. Okay, somebody says 100 in Albanian is njekind. Njekind. Okay.
Okay.
So njekind pietje.
Pietje.
Sorry. Okay, so and here we somewhat, I'm not sure if disagree, but again, it's not disagree because I can totally see where you're coming from. This one certainly comes down to completely to taste. And I love the song. Like, oh my God. But here it's more of a nostalgic thing more than anything. It feels like the kind of music my parents listened to when I was young. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm loving it. Like, oh, I want to be home having cookies now. So it's just something out of a French movie, first of all. It sounds like, it's like, oh my God, it sounds so French. I can't help but love it for that reason, right? It's more like I have a personal connection with it. She sounded great, though, and probably not the most remarkable entry overall, like composition. I get that. It's just something that, clicked with me for the reasons I just mentioned. It's traditionally old school. I think, though, it's a little bit more accessible than some of the other old school songs that we had. So I think there's a little bit more of a broader appeal there. It would have worked definitely at Eurovision 30 years ago. In 2019, big question mark, but I personally just found it charming and made me smile, and I just enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. But I think it's going to maybe drop a little bit in my ranking because it was really high. I think other songs just wowed me a little bit more, but I think it's really just my personal mad thing here.
Yeah, I had it in my top 10, but I think it will be out of it after tonight. I just had it barely in the bottom, and I thought that it would really just get higher with the live performance. But yeah, it just didn't really do anything for me tonight.
All right, that's fair.
Maybe tomorrow, though.
Maybe tomorrow. Don't give up on her just yet.
No.
And yeah, we'll see. So song number 21 was Oral Tilimi. Te Dua Ti. Do you want to go first, or?
Yeah, sure. This was also kind of like the previous one, where I really had expectations that this had to win me over live. But vocally, I didn't find him as good as I had hoped him to be. Well, it was vocally okay, I guess. But when he hit the high notes, like that's the part where he was really good. But when he hit the high notes, it literally just looked like he was about to cry, and it just totally distracted me from the entire song. And so yeah, it kind of left me indifferent.
Yeah. See, and that is very interesting how you point, because I was thinking, looking at the song, I'm like, I love the song initially, and I still love it. But it's a kind of song, if you don't feel the emotions, or because you're not in that place to feel that, you're not going to get it. Because you said, and it's fair, he looked like he was going to cry, and that distracted you, right? Some people could say, like, he almost started crying, and that moved me, you know? So it could be like a completely different reaction.
That's true. That's true.
So it's just very interesting. And now it's a very fair thing, and that's the beauty about music. You never know what it does to you. You know, it creates emotions that you either respond to or do not respond to. And that is fine. And I personally love this because I love this angelic, I just, it's so pretty. And I think he sounded good. My biggest issue were his facial expressions when he sings. And when you really sing, you do make sometimes less attractive faces, right? You're like, like you're not supposed to look pretty. I hate when I say pretty singers. I mean, like when you watch a movie and they sing like they want to look pretty. I like sing, la la la, look at me. It's just not like that. It's really like you're supposed to. When you really sing, you don't look pretty. That's basically what it is. So, and he was at least authentic in that. And I get it that it distracts people. I was able to look past it. I live in a very musical world in my life, so I see people sing a lot like that. So I kind of don't get distracted by it as much. But I can totally see where people are coming from with that. Personally, to me, it's just my kind of music, and I find it charming. I have to listen to it again tomorrow because I was probably just too distracted by the melody, and I'm like, I love this song, and I had my eyes closed for a little while. I'm like, wait, I need to pay attention. So that was my mistake. So, but I don't think it's going to win, but
No.
I enjoy it.
Okay. Sounds fair.
Yeah. Somebody pointed out by the song before where we had different thoughts. Iranda, the 100 song. She did it for the nostalgic folks. Well, the person said the effing nostalgic folks, but I'm not going to do that because YouTube is going to find out. Love her, one of the best. Check her other songs, please. I will now, because I love that she delivers to the nostalgic people. So that's why I guess I'm on her team. If it's a market, it's a niche that she tried to go for, and she delivered. It made me happy. I just wanted to address that comment. All right, so next up and is the one that I clicked out of by accident. Oh, it's the last one. Orgesa Saimi, she was actually in the end my favorite last year. What do you think of her song this year, Roy, and her performance?
When I heard she was going to participate, I was really, really hopeful because I absolutely love drum and bass, and her song last year was incredible. So I was a little disappointed when I first heard the song. I heard the potential, but I found it a bit disjointed, maybe. But live, this just really rocked. I found it really good live, and I think the parts that I hated about the studio version was that it felt really flat. But with the orchestra, it never really felt flat for me. And maybe that'll be different tomorrow again, because then there's an orchestra anymore. But yeah, this was really good with the orchestra.
Yeah. No, I agree. Actually, it's very interesting because I was rooting for Ogesa anyway, because I find her just so, like, she's just oozing personality, right? And
how she came on the stage as well, I was like, yes, perfect.
That's exactly. She is like a true entertainer and a true individually artist. Like, she is her own little like creation, right? She's not like anybody else. And when I listened to the studio version, I liked it. I was like, ooh, I think she's doing a lot of risks here. It's not a safe entry. And I liked it, but then I ranked all my songs, all of a sudden it ended up, it's like only 8th or 9th place in my ranking. I'm like, but it's good, but I think I liked other songs better. After tonight, I'm completely again Team Orgesa. She just blew me away. The way she looks. They came together. The team, whoever worked on it, I'm not sure if she had somebody. They knew what they were doing with her as a person, how to dress, how to use the lighting, the backdrop, and just her energy on stage. It all came together. And nothing is more important to me than matching the singer with the right song. And I feel as they really were able to put something together that is really her music and her style. And that came across. And just like you said, you were slightly disappointed with the song initially. It felt disjointed, and I totally get it, because I think in the end I kind of was on the same page. After tonight, I'm like, I'm not counting her out anymore.
No,
I think that
same.
that could totally be that kind of song. And there are lots of them, a lot of songs out there who just are okay, good in the studio version, but then once they're on stage, it's like, oh my God, this is amazeballs. And I think that is exactly what happened here, right?
Yeah, totally. I really agree. I think now, when you heard her singing live and seeing her on the stage with her persona, and the backdrop was also really cool, and it sounded a lot better. And I think if you have that at Eurovision, people just vote for her, just being in the center of the stage and just looking like she does.
Yes.
And I think that's a really big selling point about this. And yeah, the song really sounded good now.
Absolutely. I thought so too. And I hope she's going to do well. And if she doesn't win this year, I hope she'll be back, because, Orgeza, you are talented. And I know once you make it to Eurovision, you will be like amazing. I'm a big fan of her, and I'm so glad that the song really clicked live. And that's the beauty that we're doing this, Again, let's wait for tomorrow. Let's wait. Maybe she's totally going to be horrible tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be. But it's very interesting. So there we have the 22 performances of the night. So some very unexpected, pleasant surprises, and some less than, let's say, disappointing, and that is okay. So if you have to pick like one or two biggest surprises and disappointments, let's start with the surprises first. I think I kind of know based on your comments, but let's point them out anyway one more time.
Wow. Okay. Totally Layla. Layla was really good. Really surprised me, and it just won me over. I think the other surprise would be the I don't remember what the song is called, but with the rap part in it.
Oh,
I think that's my other surprise.
Yes. It's called Dua Ta Besoi, but you're not going to remember. That's Artemisa is the big name. The female singer is Artemisa, and Phoebe is the guy. Yes. Yeah.
Well, I think those two stick out to me.
I am so disappointed that you picked those, because those are the two absolutely those that I had not as high on my radar are now really high on my radar. Those, there are songs that delivered that I thought were really good anyway, so they're not on my top 2 list right now that I picked, but the two biggest surprises, improvements, I completely agree, were those two. And I think that both of them got a big reaction in the audience, and I think that speaks for itself, unless there is some bias going on in the arena, but I don't think there is.
Yeah. But both songs are not really jury-friendly songs, so I'm not sure if they will win.
Yeah.
But they at least surprised me, so maybe they surprised the judges too.
Yeah, we have to wait and see. I'm not counting anyone out, and that's the beauty about Eurovision. My favorites hardly ever win. I've come to terms with that. And that is sometimes okay. You come to terms with that, and you're like, even if they don't go to Eurovision, you still have them. You're not going to be deleted from history. You're going to have them. You can listen to them whenever you want to. And so I always kind of take it like, okay, may not be listening to it a lot at Eurovision, but they'll always exist on my playlist. And I just think that these two have the most potential to become really like big growers. So glad we're on the same page. So who were the biggest disappointments to you? Keep in mind, we're not trying to be mean or picky, because we want those acts to do better. Right?
Totally.
Yes, so.
I think I have to start with Mirud. Yeah. It's not that he's bad, but I thought he would be more amazing than he was. And I think he can totally fix it still, but he did disappoint me tonight quite a bit. I think the other one has to be Alar Band. I really hope that would be incredible and just be nice, fun, and it just wasn't fun. And I guess you're just going to say the same to
what he said. Because it is true, because when you talk it through, initially I wouldn't have the Amarband, but it is true. The Amarband, because you expect something more like Moldova, like crazy, like opening doors and running through them, that's something fun. Or just even more like Turkey 2004 Up, just something a little bit more
some
Energy,
liveliness.
yes, loveliness, but I gave him a little bit of not a pass per se, but I understand that this is Festivali Kenges. It could look very, very different if they were to win Festivali and under the Eurovision stage. But we have to judge the song as it is right now. So that kind of upbeat song, having such a staging, there's only so much you can do. So I'm hoping that tomorrow there will be a little bit more energy. And if you cannot do backflips and climb up the walls, I get that. But you can do it at least with your body gesture or movements or something more like playful, like being playful with the band members or something like that. Bring the energy.
Or at least just get rid of the suits. I thought the suits were really just not fitting the song.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. And I can only echo what you said about Mirut, that's his name. Because, and I think this is more of a general consensus online, because I was on Twitter at that point, and I saw a lot of people either saying this was not good or saying, the first notes were not good, but I still love the song, right? They're still trying to be optimistic. And that is fair, because I'm kind of the same way. He was too nervous, and then I think he didn't give up. That's not the right word, but he certainly knew that he is messing up, and I think he lost focus and control, as I pointed out earlier, and that's what he needs to fix. If you don't do well at the beginning, it's okay. Find yourself, find your place, and I think he kind of never really returned to that until he really hits the big notes, and then he was fine. But that was definitely the biggest disappointment, and he needs to work on that, and then he'll also be able to connect with us more, because that was also a little bit of a lag there. So hopefully he can do, because both of us, I think Roy, I can speak on behalf of both of us, we both want him to do well, and if he wins, I think none of us would shed a tear.
No, somebody in chat is actually pointing out that Uvolo will be in Sanremo this year.
Yes,
I'm really stoked for that.
You weren't on my last broadcast then, my last Matitude, I mentioned that. Actually, it's rumored that Uvolo, is that now confirmed?
But yeah, he said that it's confirmed.
Okay, it's confirmed.
That's what I make out of it.
So my reporting was correct. And they also say Francesco Gabbani could be back. That would be really cool too. So, but I'm thrilled. Il Volo, you were also team Grande Amore.
Yeah, totally. I am so baffled that it didn't win. It totally deserved the win.
I was the same way. That was probably my most difficult Eurovision year. I was very unhappy with things were going, and people were. I was like, oh. So I was. It was a tough year. So I was really upset when they didn't win. So I mean, they don't. You can honestly say, and I don't mean that at Eurovision, because I love Eurovision, but they don't need the contest per se. Do you know what I mean? They're already one of a super successful band. They're known here in the United States. They were on American Idol. Okay. So I mean, yes. So they are huge. So, but I'm glad that they're coming back, and I know they would go back to Eurovision. I'm pretty sure they're just those kind of guys, and they're so talented. And I agree 100% with it. It was by far my favorite song that year, and I think I'll never recover from that. But anyway, I'm going to start crying now. So overall, just to sum it up, Roy, you enjoyed tonight's show. You think there's potential out there for Albania to return to the finals?
Yes, totally. I think this year it is outstanding, especially if you compare it to last year. I only had like 4 good songs last year.
Yeah.
This year is really good. And even today, when I made my top 10 list for my article, I had trouble picking my top 10 in the ranking. And with the surprises that were tonight, I think it's even more people having a chance to win. And they're all quite good songs that could do quite well at Eurovision.
Yes, I concur with that statement. So we'll have to wait and see. We got 2 more nights before we know the winner, but we'll have finally a song. It's like, gosh, we have so few information. We only know one singer so far, Armenia, right? Nothing else we know so far, so it's time to get some more deal. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, with our next broadcast. Thank you, Roy, for joining us, and I hope you'll be back, or did I scare you off?
No, yeah, I would love to be back if you want me to, or if the audience wants me to.
Yeah. Oh, no, people already asked him, as you saw, like, are you going to be in Tel Aviv?
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Would be nice. So, thank you, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow with talking about the next semifinal. I'm not sure if you can even call it a semifinal. It's so confusing what they call it.
Yeah.
But hopefully you tune in, and y'all have a good night. I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good whatever.